Well, I had a very inspiring day from my side, I have to say, even though I was butterflying a lot, but enjoying to have the time for bilateral or small group discussions, exchange on different things, also beyond the topic of the conference. And I saw many, many people working hard and discussing and coming up with the reports. Thank you for that. So we're doing a closing session, and we are using the method which is called Conversation Café. Conversation Café is the key thing. It's a little bit loud, this microphone actually, I don't know. Is this cube, the catch box. Whoever holds the catch box can speak. Talk about whatever you like. Ask a new question. Share your impressions of the day. Talk about what you found most motivating or frustrating or whatever the feelings are. But really, oh my God, it's just too loud. Huh? Yeah, that's why I put it so far away, because it looks funny, it feels funny first of all, and it's in sound and loud. No, we need this because that's the game actually. Or let's see if they can fix it to make it sound good. Exactly. So that's the rule. You can say whatever you like about whatever you want. We have the panelists in here. The only rule is you have 1.5 minutes. And when the 1.5 minutes are up, no more talking and handing the box to the next person. Yeah? We will have 2 or 3 rounds in this circle. And well, panelists, Moira as facilitator, you're invited to share several times, whatever you want to. If you don't want to say anything, you pass the square, not the square, the box, the cube. Thank you. If you're done after 20 seconds, you pass the box, that's fine. We have 2 free chairs here. Those are the invitations to any of you to drop into our circle, say also something, share something, and you can go out again to make space for other participants. So that would be nice if you can even actually start the round, because there's an empty chair here right now. Yeah. Conclusions or new openings, whatever you like to say. Are we okay with that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm actually starting on this side then, because I see you're motivated, and Nadine will start the clock, the countdown. And please, anyone, don't miss to use this open space here to also share your impressions or whatever you would like to say. Let's go.
So for me, in reflection of the workshops, which really amazingly productive and enjoyable and energetic, but I feel it's just a beginning. I feel many of the recommendations are a way forward. And it's lovely being in such a room with such dedicated, passionate professionals in the world of education and emergencies to know that that journey forward will happen.
You can throw it actually.
Don't trust this throwing. Does. Yeah. So, very exciting day, lots of conversations, lots of commonalities. I think the concerns about funding, the concerns about how do you talk to the non-converted, I think have come a time and time again. I'm super pleased to have had the opportunity to listen to some youth, not enough, but to learn from them as well as everybody else. So yeah, I hope the conversations continue, because I think the issues that have been identified really do need to be delved in deeper.
Thank you for not trusting me to catch that. That would have been the hard part. Yes, yet again, amazing group of people, amazing amount of work being done. Really important to be able to celebrate the wins as well as mourn the losses. At the same time, I think one of the things that we need to also be very careful of at this point of being in a situation of facing a threat, and it's a collective threat as well as individual threats, is your threat response being activated, the collective threat response being activated, and we end up thinking that all we have to do is do more. We have to work harder, continue to work harder, and yes, we do. I'm not saying we don't, but we also need to take care of ourselves and make sure that we're taking care of each other. And I think on a day like this, when so many of us are together in the same space, same time as we are inspiring each other to take things forward and do more work and work harder, can we also make sure that we're taking a moment just to appreciate each other and also appreciate the difficult situation that we're in, and the fact that we need to actually be supporting each other, not only by doing more work, but also actually taking notice of the situation and how we're all responding to it.
I would also say it was very inspiring to see so many motivated people that are thinking out of the box and thinking what do we have to do in this challenging environment that we are in. And I think that's probably also what we need to do to still be able to bring the best solution, or to do the best that we can do for the children and youth that need our support for education. And sorry, I will give my space free very soon, because I have to pick up my daughter from daycare. So it's free for someone.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. I mean, for me, this is the first time I meet with this lot of expertise that came from different areas, from different backgrounds. I've learned a lot, to be honest. I was stuck in some areas when I joined the group discussions, and I kept silent because I'm listening. I'm really, really listening, and I'm learning the really new things. Farida, Linda, you talked about a lot of great things, and also our colleagues. I had maybe individual and in a group discussions, and I really learned a lot of things. I think children children will be safe having this passion that's still in place. People really care about children. What I wish is that these kind of discussions will continue, because I think every single idea and approach we talked about, there are children behind that are still waiting for us to provide and support them. So thank you very much, everyone, for your passion and your support, and pleasure to meet everyone. Thank you. It's gonna be, anyone is interested?
I'm just gonna come in then and ask a question, because many of you talked about things that you learned, and for me it's like, oh, you have heard it all, you know so much. So I would just like to ask, what is maybe one thing for each and every one of you that you have learned today, or that a new idea or something that inspired you, like something concrete? I would be interested in hearing about that, if that's allowed.
So anything is allowed to say. You can also choose to answer the question or not answer the question. And you can also, of course, answer each other, ask each other questions, whatever you find most, whatever you want to say. I wanted to say thank you for coming in and taking the space. That's great, courageous, and there are more free chairs. You can already take the space now, so that you can speak later, so don't be shy. And I wanted to say thank you and echo what you said, Moira, about this taking care of each other. I have to say that me, as the coordinator of this network, we are a very small team with Nadine and with Odile, in the preparation. Odile will leave us soon, unfortunately. We're a small team, and we have a small working time for this mandate, and it is so important for us to have this feeling of the community. Very, very motivating and also encouraging. I believe that, first of all, what we do is important and relevant. It makes sense. It's really important that we find ways to continue with the network also, even without funding, or no, not without funding, find a solution and continue to be a strong community.
I don't mean this to sound as flippant as it does in my head. One of the things I've learned new being here is this methodology of running a workshop/conference. I absolutely love the Zen approach and the fact that everybody has a space and everybody's opinions and positions and knowledge is equal and valid. What a wonderful thing to have an opportunity of participating in. Thank you. I was also really inspired by the group that are just setting up their Education in Emergencies program in Myanmar. It's so wonderful to hear of groups coming into this space at a difficult time and choosing to do that. And may there be many, many others doing the same. That's that.
Okay, very quickly, what did I learn? I learned so much from different people in different conversations, outside, inside. Learned about what's happening in Syria in greater detail, because I don't hear about that. I also learned from one of the younger participants here how different it is to not be taken seriously at a younger age, and then as you get into higher education, you're kind of moving into adulthood, so your voice is heard. And I think it's important for us to find those spaces where we are able to hear meaningfully, not tokenism, how to have the younger people's voice there, because they will shape what is tomorrow. And unless we give them that space to guide us, we're going to go around in circles, I'm afraid.
This isn't a new thing I learned, but it was a fantastic deepening of the understanding of the vibrancy of RECI as a network, the intergenerational aspect of it, the range of experience and expertise that the RECI network brings when it comes together like this. And I'm even more proud to be on the board. Thank you.
Yeah, I think there are many things, but one of them is that it's something in your mind, but you didn't ask yourself that how you can systematically organize it. So in the table there, we've been discussing about if you have a new shock, for example, we need to open a new response in that particular area. Where we start. I found myself in the middle of a crisis, and then everything was settled before. But how you can gear up? From what steps you need to gear up and start building your own response in new areas, for example. So this is something come to mind. Especially we have a lot of people that came from researching backgrounds, came from content development research, but haven't been part of any emergency situation development, maybe implementation. So this comes to mind that we need to keep in mind whenever we deploy to certain areas, how to react and how to build this kind of proper responses, from scratch, other than find yourself like in the middle of something and then you can continue that way. Yeah. The empty chair.
No? Can I take the box? I want to ask people.
For the moment, it still goes one by one, and because I want to say something. And I'm just doing a little moderator intervention and trying to motivate everyone to also come and take the space. And maybe every time that the square passes the empty chair, put it there for a while and create space for those who are maybe a little bit more shy and need a little bit more time, to give them an opportunity to join the square. But it will come to you, Farida. It's approaching.
It's coming quicker than you think.
Now the question is something that somebody said that made me, okay, this is not a question, but maybe it is something that we all need to ponder. Somebody in one of our groups talked about post-human agency. So since she mentioned that, it's been going around in my head as to what is post-human agency, and does all this artificial intelligence, tools, etc. that we have, is that really agency? I know it influences us, but does it have agency? So those just things that are going around in my head. But I do think we all need to, I'm totally reconvinced that we need to rethink curricula, pedagogy, as well as assessments. And if you allow me, whatever seconds I have, I think that we need to rethink what we are teaching. We need to make sure that human rights and mental health is a key part of the curriculum from this age, not as an additional thing. We need to make sure that our assessments are not just about marketable skills, that we appreciate and value the skills for human contact, interaction, dynamics, harmony. We get points for doing math. Who gives points for music? How much points do you get for being good neighbors? We don't do that. So we need to rethink what we are assessing. And pedagogy, big, huge question mark. Still thinking about what is the best methodology for teaching in different subjects, in different contexts. So that's my 2 cents bit.
That's amazing. You've done this before. 15 minutes of this is
Anyone wants to share your impression of today, or to respond to the topic raised by Farida or someone else?
So having Farida Shahid mentioning that something I mentioned has been circling her head has just empowered me to come forth. So thank you for this. One question that I came here today with is when policy fails. So thinking of what is happening right now in the Middle East, but also thinking about AI, how the advancements are going so much faster than policy can follow. I'm a bit nervous. And from the talks I've had here in this room, from all the topics and the expertise that has come together here from the field, from research, from all of your amazing accomplishments and also failures that you reflect upon, I'm sure that even if policy fails and institutional levels I'm really nervous, are maybe weakening from a personal and individual perspective. This education forum has really given me strength and determination and a lot of motivation that it will continue.
That's a super segue to what I was going to say. I was going to say that given the current context and what I feel like is a lot of panic that is going on right now, it's really nice to come into a forum like this and discuss and talk about things that really matter and the actual strategic side of things, rather than, we were seeing, as I said, all this panic and rapid responses to this funding cuts. And yes, I just want to say that thank you to everybody for all these discussions and to the RECI Forum for making this happen. And I also want to echo that this is such a great methodology. So thank you for that.
I think in any emergency, in any crisis, there is most individuals have a desire to try to control their own narrative, to be able to take back control on things when madness is going around. And so sessions like this definitely, I think, help us to focus and see where we as individuals, as agencies, can make a difference and not be influenced too much by the white noise, by some of the stuff that circles around us. And so that beginning that I mentioned, that I feel like maybe that's why, maybe it is resetting in my own agenda what it is I can do personally going forward to help with that.
Thank you for building the segue for me. My name is Lars, I'm from the 100 Foundation, and we are a new organization in Switzerland. And something that we have been trying to practice during this year is a radical acceptance, because we have all been hitting by the hard realities of the sector, which has been changing very, very quickly. And I believe we should be able to work more closely together, and also being accountable for the change and the changes we want to see around us, as we were discussing today in one of the sessions, that let's be the force we want to see in the sector, and let's work together to make that happen.
Thank you. And remember that we all have power. All these wonderful people here have power within them, and we need to bring that together to move forward, as you're saying.
I just wanted to reflect on Farida and Odile's interventions, thinking about how all of these, anyone who knows me, I'm going to say the word systems, okay? All of these things are interconnected. These are not separate crises. All of these connect to each other, and all of them connect to our work. So at the same time as not being overwhelmed by all of the connections, being able to actually track and trace what those connections are. We're already in a situation of climate crisis, and now we have additional climate impacts by so many people saying that AI is the answer to education's problems, because AI answers take somewhere between 30 and 50 times as much natural resources to generate. The brutalization of the human beings who are paid very, very little to scrape through all of the images and the content that makes it safe for our children to be able to use that AI in school, they will continue to be brutalized. The social, economic, and also individual and technological implications and the climate implications of AI are enormous. So how do we actually make sure that when somebody says this is the solution, we ask ourselves the question, how? At least 3 times. When somebody says to us, why? Also 3 times.
For me, the format was definitely eye-opening. It's empowering and liberating. I work for the UN. If you notice, the UN chambers are shaped as circles, but nobody really sits there in circle and suggests their ideas genuinely. And that's really shocking. And for me, I'm an idealist. I still believe that things can be solved through dialogue and participation. And it's heartwarming to see that it's possible in a small circle like here to suggest your ideas, to discuss, to have conclusions agreed by everyone. It's really great. I mean, keep going, and I hope that more people learn about this method, and maybe it will make its way to the higher circles.
I think just to comment to think about AI, I think it's something inevitable. I mean, it's been used, and then other than like keep pushing and then saying that we can't accept any AI, for example, products, we can organize it in a way that can really serve our work, especially when it comes to data collection and then data analysis. A lot of work can be done with data analysis. When a survey take from you 1-2 weeks, for example, you can in one tick, you can capture a lot of findings, and that comes in mind. The more you invest in that area and introduce your stuff, for example, the more time you can serve. So sometimes they're reliable, people might be lazy at some level, then they just keep ticking, but it's good that you can organize that kind of system, and then you also include it within the education system. I think in China, for example, AI became like a mandatory or essential component in education, in the curriculum from primary education. So they have a plan in place on how to include AR from beginning, and then how best to use it instead of just keep using it randomly. So yeah. Anyone?
Hello, everybody. This is really weird. I don't know. I had so many thoughts throughout the day. I guess I was leading a session on youth agency, and when I started it, I had said that when we were going around and all, well, I guess I should introduce myself. My name is Pragya. I'm from the US. I'm a student. But I'm currently working at the University of Oxford at Compass, the Center on Migration Policy and Society. But so when we were originally going around and all of us, or everybody was walking up to the center and saying what they wanted to have a session on, I didn't say what I wanted to talk about, because the question I was asking myself was, is this the space to talk about what I wanted to talk about? And I couldn't help but think, I'm also looking at my time, so I couldn't help but think that how inaccessible often spaces like this feel to young people. And I'm so glad, and this isn't to complain at all, but I'm really so glad that there are so many people here that see the value in having young people in these spaces, having these conversations, radically reimagining a world in which we can work intergenerationally to improve education in emergencies and education when we're not in emergencies as well. So yeah, very grateful for that experience and grateful for the spaces we've been able to make. Oh God.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm taking this back for my next open space introduction moderation to make even more clear that any topic has a space. I think last time, 2 years ago, I think I made an example, like if I really want to talk about how to cook the best vegetable soup, I can do that. And if there are other people who want to talk about that right now, then it's relevant. Yeah. So everything is possible. You have a feedback immediately, how many people is it relevant. So thank you for saying this. I will reintroduce that. Otherwise, well, nothing at the moment. Let's go. We'll do one more round. Yeah, last round.
There's something I want to end my contribution here today, and it's let's be positive about things that we are able to do and achieve in the education sector. I think like during the last 6 months, a lot of the discussion has been so negative. But there are so much good things happening. We have 6,000 education innovators in our database, and they all are doing fantastic work day in, day out. List those 3 things you have done during the last 3 months, which have been positive or have been bringing you joy, and let's share those in our own channels, because I think we need encouragement as well when we are working on such an important topic.
Thank you, but I'm not going to share that right now. I'm going to say that I think lots of positive things are happening, but in terms of AI, I think we should be very careful that digitalization is hugely environmentally expensive. So when we are talking about that, let's not forget that cost. We only have the single planet, and we need to try and also make sure that we take care of our planet. And what I do want to say is something that was said to me by someone in UNESCO who's working on the Futures of Education Commission, and I think that holds true. And I love the expression, so I've taken it over, which is we need to reimagine education. We need a new social contract, ensuring that it's a public common good for everyone, lifelong learning, but we need to do so with 1 foot in the future and 1 foot in the past. The past to deal with all of those inequalities that have come to us that remain, and in the future to understand how this could be done better. So that's the thought I leave you with.
Much less deep, but a more immediate future is just to reiterate the invitation to everybody to the exhibition, which will be on the lakefront in Geneva for the entire month of July. Well, the 2nd to the 30th. They need to put it up and take it down again. Do get in touch if you're going to be coming to Geneva and you want to come and see the exhibition. And if anybody has any ideas of other spaces in Switzerland where we can take this exhibition, it is mobile. And we very much look forward to it. And where are you, Eliane? We need to take it to the Parliament as well. She did? Yeah. Okay, so it's on education and its role in fulfilling all of the SDGs, including as a fundamental human right, and the need for cooperation in order to achieve any of this. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not sure if anyone wants to step in.
Problem is this limitation. Okay, I'll be short. I want to thank RECI, speaking of good stuff. What? Okay. I feel like a squirrel. I want to thank RECI for the statement that they did, and everybody who was involved in it, as a reaction to the government's decision to not mention that they want to fund basic education. I was sitting in Kreuzlingen, of all places, and it helped me, and it's encouraging to see that we're all still fighting in our way. I think it's an important one, and I want to say that my career started with the ICRC in the 90s, and I moved to education because I really wanted to in the end of the 90s, because there was hardly anything happening towards the end of conflicts and then the transition towards non-conflict, which you cannot call peace. And this has changed so much, not because I joined the education caravan over the last 25 years. And this is a bit of a down moment, but I personally don't believe that it's going to stay like this. That's it. Ha!
Yeah, maybe just out of curiosity, I mean, we've done a lot of work here. A lot of reports will be produced and then coming and will be shared. What's the next step? What do we have any influence afterwards from this RECI, this amazing gathering and results we came up with? Just a question. So, the RECI team, maybe, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I definitely don't have the answer to that, but I also forgot to get up and leave, so I guess I'll just also say that when I first came here, when I first heard about this conference, I saw the title, Education in Turbulent Times, and it made me think about where we're talking about, which turbulent times are we talking about, which geographic region of the world, and I honestly couldn't help but think about my own country. I never, if you asked me 5 years ago, I would not have thought of the US as a turbulent space for education, but aside from being a student, being an organizer and someone who cares deeply about the state of my country and its democratic form that once existed in some capacity, I've just been at a loss for words. It's been a really insane time, as I'm sure most of you can imagine, especially on the education front. But truly, I really just feel most energized when I'm around other young people talking about the work they're doing on the ground to push back against the powers that be that make organizing and other things so hard. And as difficult as it is to be a student organizer at this time in the US, with as much that comes with it, from surveillance to kidnapping to everything in between, I really am grateful for these spaces, so I'm going to leave now.
Yeah, actually when we started planning this conference, I think it was the end of last year. It was a different time. And a few days before this day, we exchanged also on the team and with the board, and we said we would never have imagined how turbulent the times would be on the 23rd of June, including also turbulence for us as a network, but on all levels in different regions. And I think it would be a never-ending story to enumerate all the turbulences that we are going through. again, I want to express for how important coming together here and being a network, or I mean, in the broader sense, standing together, being a community of like-minded people who can motivate ourselves, take care of each other, etc., but also come up with concrete recommendations with really deep discussions. I haven't had time to read all the reports, but I will. And I also invite you afterwards, after the closing in a few minutes, if you have time to stay a bit, to go through the reports, maybe have a glass of water or juice outside before we all leave. Have some more exchange if you like. And now I'm outside of the Conversation Café because it's finished, so I continue talking and closing the round. And of course, to give you the answer to your question. So all the reports and the recording of the panel discussion, the recording of this final session, the reports will be shared on RECI's website. If you haven't done so yet, please sign up to our newsletter, then you will receive it directly. But obviously, the panelists, you will receive a special message, I'm sure, from Nadine, who is doing an absolutely amazing job together with Odile in the preparations of today, in absolutely incredible communication and coordination. So thank you for that. But it's not up to me. Actually, it's not my role to do all the thank yous, but Lisa, maybe you want to take... Do you want this funny microphone? Yeah, take the funny microphone.
I have this luxury of doing nothing and just giving the thank yous. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this really enriching day. Well, maybe first of all, thanks for all the participants and to participate and to play the game, to fill the agenda. And I just realized actually now, because I'm the older generation, how much this means also for young people. I wasn't aware of it anymore. So that, and for me that's already great to hear that this is a format that you really can benefit as well. And thanks again, Beatrice, for having the courage as usual. I knew it was worked, but it's still surprising that it works so well. Thanks very much for this. But then, thank you very much, the panel. Now I have to, take the base. Farid, thank you very much for joining us. It was really enjoyable. And we have some small presents with us. Abdul Wahab, Linda Jones, and Corinne Duriot. She already left, huh? Okay, yeah. And then there was Moira as well, huh? Oh, she comes after. You are in the organizing committee. But first we have the volunteers. A great thank you, because this would not have been possible for... Sorry. I thought, yeah. These are the presents.
Yours?
Sorry. Okay, sorry. Then a great thank you to the volunteers. Wouldn't have been possible, you heard. It's such a small team. So, Johanna Käser, Nari Perez, Tatjana Luvrinovic, Charlotte Menegin, Irene Bodenstein, and Aida Shahic. Thanks very much. There's a small present for you as well. Okay. Great. And then, of course, the big work, the organizing committee, Valeria, Moira, Delia, Sarah, Chiara, Odile, yeah, of course, Nadine, and Beatrice. Thanks very, very much. And then we have also, who else? Beatrice, yeah, I think that is, sorry. Beatrice again, but she can't be thanked enough because she's doing a great work together with the team, the RECI team. We always surprised what all the work you do in still little time you have. Then the interpreters, Georgia Stocco and Alice Gualandris, who were the interpreters for the online participants, and the photographer, Ben Dencham. Thanks very much. And then, of course, also we'd like to thank the donors and the partners who helped to make this day possible, that is SDC, especially the strategic partner from the Economy and Education Department. I think you're the only one left now. Thanks, to give the greetings to your colleagues. And we have, who else? We have our member organization, UNICEF Switzerland. Where's she? She had to leave. Okay, yeah, because they were helping us to find you. Thank you very much. And yeah, and then the Paul Kate Centrum. It has always been nice to be here, and I think it's really a great venue. And we had it all for us alone today, as the museum was closed. I think, I hope I didn't forget anybody? Anyway, huh? Everybody else, in case. Thanks very much. I wish you a good end of the day. Enjoy Bern if you still have some time. And yeah, lots of courage and hope and for the future. And yeah, take care. Let's take care of each other. I take that, Moira. Thank you. Let's hope we see each other next year. What I can say, we will fight for it.